Hello. It is Tammy coming to you live from my office. We may be struggling today with, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. We may be struggling today with connection because the internet is ridiculous. But if you do jump on here, please do me a favor and say hello and tell me where you're watching from. No comments are coming through yet, but if y'all can just say hi, I see 2 people watching, and I know the internet is absolutely horrible. And I am just taking a deep breath and not getting frustrated with it and knowing that whatever I say today that someone needs to hear, I know that they will. Today's topic is actually pretty important to me because it's one of those things where I see people talk about it a lot, and I know that I have been guilty of feeling this way, and I want to talk about it today. So, for those of you who are just joining us, maybe you don't know who the hell I am, where the hell you are, what the hell you're watching. My name, as you can see below here, is Tammy Nelson, and I am the Hometown Hippie with Hometown Hippie Elevated Edibles, and I am Tammy of #Party with Tammy, so I'm live in those 2 spots, as well as over on my YouTube channel. So I do go live in a couple of places on Sunday mornings, looking like this because it is Sunday morning, and we're easy like Sunday mornings, right? So it is important to say hello and tell me where you're watching from so that I can, it's more fun with friends. And I am not seeing comments as of yet. I'm going to look on my phone because I'm scared to pull cellular service away from anything. I'm actually cutting Wi-Fi off because it is not working for a poo. It's not working for poo. And there's so many places you could be watching that I'm not even sure where you would be watching from. So I can't even check my phone. But again, it is more fun with friends, so please say hello. Now, like I said, I am Tammy Nelson of Hometown Hippie Elevated Edibles and Party with Tammy. I am also here on YouTube. These are my little small businesses. And I think I have banana from my little thing on my lip. But on Sunday mornings, I go live and talk about things and drink my coffee. And today we are talking about getting stuck in the suck cycle. Can I get some thumbs up, some hearts, some O faces, some wows, whatever reaction or comment you want to leave? If you have ever been experiencing like one piece of bad luck, is how you see like one thing after the other, right? One thing after the other. Like it's like you get 2 steps up, you get knocked 3 steps back. Or you get up in the morning, like yesterday, for example. Good morning, Wendy. I felt like I got caught in this suck cycle yesterday afternoon. I felt like it just swept over me and it wrapped me up. And I was like, I've got to stop whatever it is I'm doing and get out of the suck cycle, right? Have you ever had like a day where like you get up a little bit late, like, okay, I'm a little bit late, I'll be fine. And then like you can't find your keys or you spill your coffee on you. Then you get out to the car, or maybe you can't find your keys and you get, because this is one of my mornings before, then you get out to your car and the tire's low, or you forget your phone in the house, or the car won't start, or maybe you get in the car and you get down the road and there's an accident and you get stuck in traffic. So it's like one thing, kind of like a building block of stuck. Can I get some yes, no, maybes, hearts, something that you can agree with that? Anybody ever felt that way? And then as you get to work or you get to where you're going, and your entire demeanor, your entire attitude, your entire everything, your entire persona It's just.
Sorry, could you say that again?
I was not
Sorry.
talking. My phone, my watch. This stuck in the suck cycle sounds like Hey Siri. Apparently, I'm cutting that off, so won't do it. Okay, so ridiculous, right? Yes, it's never just one thing. And let me ask you a question: do you ever feel like it's just a cloud that like walks over top of you, right? Now, if that's how you feel, I'm here to tell you, I know, I feel you. Yesterday it happened to me. I got really lucky with that. I don't know how, and I do know how, right? I do know how. But I grabbed, I had put in a cast iron skillet in the oven last night. And I had a one of those things where like little bitty things just started going, like the tumbling blocks yesterday afternoon. Got ready to do dinner, and I threw a cast iron with some vegetables to roast in the oven in a 450 oven. I normally use my cast iron on top of the stove. So I took the hot pads, because you're pulling it out of the oven, of course, and you pull it out, and I set it on the back eye to like let it finish up or whatever. Just cooking. And I completely forgot, like 10 minutes later, that had come out of the oven. It was on the back eye of the stove. I needed to move it over. And I grabbed the handle of the cast iron, and I was like, psh, instantly. But I got really lucky that it did not like blister as bad as it could have, because I felt like I like touched it. It was instant, like welted up. And I went like from here to here. Like that's how close it was to getting my hands under the cold water in the sink. And then I got Miracle Oil on it. So if you're from Party with Tammy, that Miracle Oil, it's amazing. And I know some other people who use Miracle Oil on burns, but when you get it on there that quickly, it really does the trick. So I am super blessed with that. But that was kind of like the straw, right? I had like all of these things happen, and then it's like a building block, and then it turns into maybe an injury, right? You ever done that? Like you have such a crappy day, you end up like tripping over your own feet and like falling down. And yesterday I got stuck in that suck cycle where I literally ended up hurting myself, like hurting myself. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, okay, when you want to be a beacon, you have, and here's the thing, what I loved about yesterday was this, and this is going to sound crazy, but I recognized it, right? I recognized the suck pattern that I was in. Like it just seemed like it was like very like weird, like how things were happening. Like my energy was, I thought was good yesterday morning, and then something happened, and it went. Now, normally, I could still be right. I would still be. Oh, the suck cycle. Oh, my life sucks. Oh, this is awful. Well, why me? Why this? Why that? But through the last few years of being able to like recognize when, number one, I am sometimes my own worst enemy and get myself put into that suck cycle because of my own actions, right? Number two, being able to identify the suck cycle, and that me going, oh, woe is me, the whole world's over with, all the things, is not going to fix it, right? Now, for me, I'm going to tell y'all, I have a couple of different ways I see this. Number one, just like I always say, I am a student of Namaste, right? I am a practitioner of Namaste. That's like my religion, is what I tell people, because what Namaste kind of loosely translates into, there's a lot more probably in it. What's up, Rachel? Is that the divine in me recognizes the divine in you, and I believe that we all create our own reality. Like our perception is our reality, and we create our own reality. And just like I believe that each of us are divine, right? Well, with divinity, with light comes dark, right? So I know that I am being that's whenever like the Satan, right? Not today, Satan. Anybody ever said that? Can I get a hashtag not today, Satan? I was like yesterday, versus realizing that it was like all of this suck cycle was my own doing, right? Was my own perception, was my own doing, was my own me. Whoa, what was me wallowing all the things, right? Just like all of the good, like all of the light, all of the namaste, all of the great things that you accomplish and do. I have learned to realize that a lot of times when we get stuck in these suck cycles, right? It is of our own demise. We are doing our own demise. Sometimes things are going too good and we have to sabotage. Other times it just happens. And when it starts happening, we get in this mindset of the world is over, everything's bad, I don't deserve, blah, 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 blah. What I'm excited to know is that, just like I said, I believe that we create our own we create our own reality. Just like the good, though, we also can kind of get that crap coming at us, right? So I talk about this on the regular about a pattern interrupt. And here's the thing. I have been working on pattern interrupts for about 5 years with Carly, who I work with, right? With what I'm doing with me. Like, we talk about it, but I literally like do the work. Like, I try to stop. Sorry, I got stuff everywhere here, y'all. I try to, even when things are going very, 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 very good. When things are going very, 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 very good, I don't want to pattern interrupt good, right? But I do stop and pause and give gratitude for it in that moment, right? And I say, thank you, right? Thank you. We deserve this, right? Because a lot of times what I feel like happens is when things go good, somewhere in the back of our mind, like I tell people, like I've said this before, like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And that's when sometimes we can get ourselves into that suck cycle, right? We believe very much that we deserve all the shit that happens to us. But sometimes we will get ourselves into a suck cycle because we are trying to prove to ourselves that we don't deserve something. And that's where I was yesterday. Things are going good. Everything's working out. I start getting that stinking thinking in the back of my head, like, do I deserve this? Am I worthy? This is too good to be true. And then I find a way, right? We all do it. I don't know if we all do it. I know I do it. So I'm assuming, like, I don't think that anything I do that's special, that, is special because I feel like we all kind of have, if I can do it, you can do it. Either way, good, bad, or ugly, right? We're capable of all of it. But I feel like I was self-sabotaging, right? It's like, okay, things are going good. I don't deserve this. And then all the crap starts happening. But stopping and pattern interrupting the bad, and like where I was like, stopping in the good stuff and giving gratitude. Or if you're sometimes like me, like I said, where all the good things are happening and your brain starts going like, I don't deserve this. Why is this happening? I can't believe this. When's the other shoe going to drop? Because we're concerned about that next bad thing happening, boom, we have manifested that next bad thing happening, right? So if we're in that good pattern, sometimes we'll manifest this like suck cycle to like sabotage ourselves. But when we get in that stuck cycle, for some reason, we're stuck in that suck cycle, right? We don't believe that we think this is what my life is, right? And I saw this post the other day and it was like, what if this is it? Right? Just one shitty thing after the other. And for the rest of my life, I have to fight and I have to pretend that I'm stronger than I really am. And I'm going to say this to you, if you believe that. If you have said to yourself, my life sucks, I'm going to have to always have a shitty life, I'm going to always have to have a sucky life, I don't deserve any better, that doesn't happen to people like me. Good morning, beautiful humans. I love that. Good morning. So again, as you jump on here, say hello and tell us where you're watching from. Do me a favor, also tag a friend, because this is going to get real right now. So when you are stuck in that suck cycle, right, I'm going to encourage you to pattern interrupt. That's what I did last night. I was like, I need to stop whatever I'm doing and I need to ground myself. And that means that I'm not going to touch anything tonight. It's not going to be a suck cycle. It's not going to be a good cycle. It's just going to be me getting myself back centered, right? Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's doing a meditation. Maybe it's just going to bed and taking a nap, starting over. You have to find something to stop that suck cycle, because just like with when things are going really good and you're waiting for that shoe to, like the other shoe to drop, or you're waiting for the rug to get pulled out from under you, or you're waiting for the bullshit to come happen, right? Because you're manifesting all that when you're waiting for it. When you're like, I'm on edge because, I mean, life can't be this good without some bullshit coming down the pike. And we're in the two groups we're in, we're allowed to say bullshit, just being honest. But it just like you are sitting there with all the good, right? And you're waiting. You're like, I don't deserve all this. Like something bad is bound to happen. Like I'm frosty, right? I'm staying on high alert. I want you to realize that suck cycle. Why don't we ever think about, well, this won't last forever. Something good is about to happen, right? Why don't we have that? Why don't we look for that same out of the suck cycle as we do the good cycle? Can I get some comments on that? Like, hallelujah, amen. Do y'all know where I'm coming from on that? Does that make sense? Yes. Thumbs up, hearts, whatever. Does that make sense? We have no problem pattern interrupting the good, right? Everything's going good. And you're like, just wait. It can't be this good forever. Even if you're not saying it out loud, something in the back of your head, right? Something in the back of your head is like, well, this can't last long. This can't last long. And you're always anxious, waiting for the bad thing to happen. Anybody else ever have that? Like when things are going really good, like your stomach almost knots up because you're so like afraid or you're so worried about that shit thing that's going to happen. 1 step forward, 3 steps back, because you say that out loud, right? Nobody ever says, has anybody in the history of this group, ever said to themselves, 5 steps forward, 12 steps back, or 12 steps back, 52 steps forward? Like you never frame that from the other perspective. You never claim the good. You claim that suck cycle. You'll claim that suck cycle. We all do it. I'm not saying you. Remember, when I point this way, I'm pointing back here. We never look for the out of the suck cycle. We just assume we're going to get washed up in it, wrung out, thrown in the dryer, beat up around, and then we'll get folded up for a little while and be pretty. Then we'll get worn to shit again, right? Just like clothes, right? We never anticipate when things are going crappy that, well, this can't last forever. Life is good, right? We never frame our lives in that way. And we need to. Right? We need to say, hey, I am worthy. I am truly blessed. I deserve all of the blessings that this world has for me. Because that's how you break that suck cycle, right? If you are concerned that your life is going to be one struggle after the other, one fight that you don't know that you can fight out of, right? And you're stronger. And here's the thing, like I have learned, like I used to think that I had to have like this struggle story, this like the struggle bus to be able to like be whatever. That is not the case. Right? I'm not claiming struggle bus anymore. I am not claiming struggle bus anymore. I was like, stop claiming the life you think you deserve, or the life you think you can afford, right? Stop claiming the life that you think you like, all that you get. Like, this is my life. This is what it is. I'm a realist. How many people ever use the word when somebody's like, it's not that bad, you're going to be fine? Because I know maybe that's the people watching right this minute, but I know some of y'all who I've talked to or in these groups who I work with one-on-one, I'm like, hey, it's not going to be this way forever. And they've said to me, and I want to know if you said this to me, has anybody ever tried to give you a good pep talk about getting you out of that stinking thinking? And you're like, I'm a realist. I mean, that sounds good in theory, but in the real world, that shit doesn't happen, right? That is jaded, and that is claiming that bad juju, right? You don't want to claim that shit. Don't want to claim it. Not today, Satan, right? Not today. So pattern interrupts. What is a pattern interrupt? Why does it matter? Why are we talking about that here, right? Why are you listening to that on a Sunday morning in an elevated edibles group and a pure romance group? Vibrators and edibles, right? Like, why am I hearing about my life stinking thinking? Because here's some ways to pattern interrupt, right? Number 1, spending some alone time, right? Spending some wow time, either with a partner or with yourself, right? Doing something to raise the vibration, right? Literally raise the vibration, like turn up high, right? No problems. Just kidding. I mean, not really, but kind of, not really. You ain't gonna turn the volume up or you ain't gonna turn the power up, but I'm saying like doing something to stop and change your thinking. It's something to raise your vibration. For me, my most favorite thing to do is to laugh. Like if I'm doing this, I'm not having stinking thinking, right? I am going to like fully give in to the pattern interrupt of the laughter, and that's probably why I'm a big old clown, right? That's probably why I've always been someone who, and I just worked through this just now on this live. That's exactly where my sense of humor and my need for comedic relief came in. I remember as a kid, anytime like I was the oldest of three, and my parents were amazing parents, but they were not good married people, if that makes sense. Like, you know, they had their good times, but for the most part, it was a lot of like tension whenever they would argue a lot. And it was silly, normal arguing, no big deal. There was never any kind of like physical abuse ever, 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 ever. It was just arguing. I hate arguing. I hate it. I hate fussing. I hate fighting. I hate any kind of fighting, just to be honest. Like right now, like we were watching TV last night and we were watching this movie. And the beginning of it was one of those ones where it was like doing a lot of like police like clips and like the talking and the music. And I told Red, I was like, I'm feeling very anxious by watching that intro. He's like, yeah, I think it was intended to do that. I was like, I don't like it. I don't like it. But that's how I felt as a kid, right? I get very anxious. So my way of diffusing that situation for the entire family, because you know I'm a people pleaser, and I'm the oldest, and I wanted to be the one to fix it. I would read that room, is that I would diffuse it or do something funny that would get, you know, I was very quick witted, very sarcastic, but very like not threatening to adults. Like I was not like, hey, smart ass, go sit down. It was more like, yo, Tammy, you're so silly. Or I would do something to pattern interrupt that arguing. So that's my coping mechanism, right? But I know that I think that maybe I was even doing it more for me than I was for everybody else. Like I needed a pattern interrupt. I needed some laughter to bring my vibration back up because I get those things in the pit of my stomach. And I've gone through the rest of my life of me always wanting to be like the funny one, right? That's the way I got the attention. That's the way all the things, and I'm realizing that. Mary says that she stops and does some breathing and listening to affirmations. That is a great way to do it, right? Now, I know that laughter for me, like I want to watch a funny movie, I want to do something that just makes me laugh. Music is a big one for me, right? Music is a big one for me. So like, and I know that like in college, for example, in college, if I was having a really, 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 really tough week, and one of the things like, you know, I didn't even realize I was doing it. I just know that I needed some me time. And I felt like when I was in college, there was really no space. Number one, and I'm not upset about it, I went to college with three of my best friends. We went to college, left from high school to go to college together, did 4 years of college together. We roommated together I had one roommate like in a room with me, the dorm for 2 years. Then her and I and two other girls the last 2 years in an apartment. So it was like having a bunch of sisters, right? Like literally, they became my sorority sisters too. Long story, but anyway. I never felt like I had any kind of carved out space, right? So I would get in my car and I went to Radford and I would go drive like to Pulaski or over to Tech or down Piper's Ferry Road with my little Geo Metro, and I would jam out to my music by myself, just singing loud when nobody could hear me. I thought I was I was a rock concert. Or after I would leave college, I would get very anxious leaving school to come home for the weekend. And that was my coping mechanism. I would completely get my stuff together by being alone in the car, driving down 81 to Farmville from Radford, just blaring my music. And it would all I would do is just focus on the music, right? And I still find myself when I'm in a car, like being able to just kind of focus on the music. Whatever your pattern interrupt may be, whatever it may be, maybe it's a Sudoku puzzle, right? Maybe it's going in the kitchen and preparing a meal. Now, I don't, as much as I love to cook, y'all probably laugh that I don't go in the kitchen and pattern interrupt, because here's the thing. The kitchen is a sacred space for me. So if you are in the Hometown Hippie Elevated Edibles, you know that I cook with intention, right? I cast a circle in the kitchen and I smudge and do the energy work. I don't bring that energy into my kitchen because that is my Zen place, right? That is my Zen place. And I don't want to put that energy onto food for me. I don't want to put that negative energy that I'm feeling into the food because it'll taste funny to me. This is my thing. It's just my thing. So everyone has their own unique way to get out of the suck cycle. But here's the thing. I don't care how you do it. I don't give two shits how you do it. It just matters that you do it. It just matters that you do it. Now, I also don't believe, like, because here's the thing. So you're like, okay, Tammy, that sounds great. You can stop and listen to some music. But what happens if it's bigger than that? What happens if the suck cycle keeps going? Like, what if the bad things keep going? Here's what I'm going to tell you. Just stopping, right? If you have a flat tire and you're late to work and you stop because your energy is getting really, really bad, you're in that right in that suck cycle, okay? And you're like, okay, I listened to Tammy. I got in the car. I listened to some music. I took some deep breaths. I did an affirmation. But guess what? My tire's still flat. I am not saying that's going to fix the tire. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. What I'm saying is that it gives you a chance, right? To pattern interrupt it. So you stop whatever's happening and you stop for a moment, right? And you're not going to pattern interrupt that. You may not stop the tire from being flat. It may not magically clear up the traffic jam you're sitting in. It may not fix the fact that you owe money to people that you don't have, right? What it does is it helps you to reclaim your energy about it. When I say pattern interrupt, it just stops that. It stops that, right? It stops that. And then it allows you to get this to problem solve, right? Like I tell people, I'm like, here's the thing. If you were having an anxiety attack, and you pop in a gummy, 5 milligrams, you pop in a gummy, you're like, okay, right? That's time. It's the idea of you stopping to go do that. It's pattern interrupt. And then the medicine works and then you're good, right? But in the meantime, it gives your brain time to think about something other than the fast breathing. It gives your brain, you have to go open the package, pull out the one that you want, put it in your mouth, chew it, close it back up, put it away. And then you feel, the flavor's good. Your brain is just broken its cycle of like craziness, right? It allows me this moment. That's it. It allows you the moments to stop, calm, and think. You have the answers to all of your problems. You truly do. Here's the thing, and this is what I'm going to tell y'all, because a lot of y'all, this is where it's going to get real. Do me a favor. Comment below your friend who needs to hear how to stop the suck cycle, especially if you're like, if they don't listen to somebody, they don't listen to me, tag them below. I got some people I could tag, but I'm not going to yet. I can't believe people aren't up and rolling this morning, but internet is shitty in Farmville. We are our own worst enemies. We have the answers to all of these things. A lot of times, the reason we feel stuck in the suck cycle is because we are not willing to do the work it takes to fix the problem. If you've been living for years in a cycle of one shitty thing after the other, one crappy thing after the other, if you've been saying for more than a week, my life sucks, you have to make changes. You have to do the work. You have to do the hard shit. What you are doing isn't working. Period. I want to complain about money not fitting in jeans. I have to stop eating shitty food. I complained about it for years, right? I complained about it for years, right? Oh, I know I eat shitty food, but am I doing anything about it? I'm looking in that mirror going, oh, I hate the way that looks. Oh, I hate the way this looks. Oh, I don't feel good. But I'm the one that is doing it to myself. And a lot of times that pattern interrupts helps us to see our part in the matter. I'm not saying fault. I said our part in it, our part in it. Because we have the power to fix anything we want to do. We just have to figure out which one we don't like more, right? Having to do something that might be hard for 5 minutes to have a life we deserve of, or living in that suck cycle because we're scared to do the one thing we need to do to get better, right? You ever said, I want to do this? I want to quit smoking cigarettes. I said that for 2 years. I want to quit smoking cigarettes. If I wanted to quit smoking cigarettes, guess what I would have done? I wouldn't have talked about it. I would have been about it. I would have quit smoking cigarettes. Right? I would have quit doing it. If I want to make Pure 21 work for me, and I have the book, and I have the vitamins, and I have all the things, and I say, I sure hope this works. This doesn't work. I work. I have to do all of this, right? Think about that. And that's the problem. We don't want to face it. We don't want to face that we have a part to do with our own struggle bus. We all, everything in our life is it's manifested by us. We create our life, period, in the story. Period, in the story. We create our life. I'm telling you, the 4 agreements will change your life if you read it. And it basically tells you, right? Be impeccable with your word. And I'm going to tell you how 2018 was the lowest the lowest year probably of one of the lowest years of my life. The one in this decade, right? The shittiest year of this decade for me, of my, the last 10 years of my life, probably. It was the year that I lost my mom in January. And my mom and I were very close. My mom and I were very close. And when I lost my mom, I went into this weird, like, laying in bed, eating, being a miserable bitch. I'm just exactly what I was. Just a miserable bitch. And that's the God's honest truth, right? Now, what did I say to myself that entire year? What did I say to myself? I know what I said to myself. I just lost my mom. I'm allowed to feel this way, right? People would say, well, she just lost her mom. She's dealing with that. I use losing my mom as a reason just to give up on everything, right? I was sick all the time. I hurt all the time. I was miserable all the time. I go back and forth to the doctor. I'm like, I don't understand it. I was just miserable. Miserable. It took me almost a year to realize that I was self-sabotaging. My mother passed away very young because she could, she was sick. She had COPD, but why did she have COPD? Because she didn't make the choices to take care of herself. And I'm not mad at her. I'm not blaming her. She lived her life, and I released all of that, and I love her, right? I think that a lot of 2018, I was angry. She was severely obese, and she had type 2 diabetes. She knew she had high blood pressure. She had all these medical things, right, that she just killed herself with cigarettes and food. Now, even when she quit smoking, because she didn't smoke when she died, she was on oxygen. She'd been smoke-free for several years. But at that point, it was too late. And here I am, the year she dies, pissed off at the world that she had done that to me. Like, I was mad. I was grieving. I was all the things, right? So I'd go through this madness and then make excuses. And I'm like, just because she did all, I don't love her anymore. I love my mother. Don't get me wrong. But I was laying there and I was doing the same thing to my family that she did to me, in my opinion. I was doing the exact same thing. I was pre-diabetic. I started going on metformin. If I didn't get my sugar under control, they were going to put me on shots. My blood pressure was through the roof. I had 13 different pills I was on. 13 different medicines that I was on. Right? I was doing the same thing that she did to my family because I was missing her. Right? Now, if I would have laid in that bed, I wouldn't have, she was 50, she was right at 60 when she passed away. I would have maybe 15 more years of my life because I would have kept doing it. I was when I got done wallowing in that bullshit, right? When I got done wallowing in it, right? I was the heaviest I've ever been. The most medical problems I've ever had. the most miserable I had ever been. I walked out of my bathroom, and the way that my bathroom, I had an ensuite bathroom, and I had this big, like Chester drawers, like the mirror and stuff that you when you come in the bathroom, you kind of walk by it. And I came by it, and the way that the angle was, it's like I saw my belly come out of that bathroom long before I ever did. And I came out of that bathroom, and I looked in that mirror, and it just clicked. It just clicked. And I saw myself, and I said to myself, you can either get busy living and make some fucking changes, Tammy, or this is the rest of your life, and it's going to get worse. Make the decision. And in that moment, I went back in my bathroom. I closed the door. I locked it. Buck naked, 300 pounds and all, slid down that door with like I remember this day. I can remember the way it felt. Like, my bathroom hadn't been like swept in a minute, and I was like fresh out of the shower, and I had like how you get like when you do your hair in the bathroom, and you kind of get that like before you mop the floor, you get that like hair is like matted down with some hairspray on the floor, kind of feel like that. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I remember feeling that under my feet and under my butt because I was butt naked, had my towel. And there's a lot I'm sharing. Sorry, y'all. Did not know this is going here today, but hey, it happens sometimes. And I cried. And I just had this giant release, right? Giant release. It was big. It was hard. I didn't tell anybody what was going on with me. It was like, I don't need everybody to know, right? I need to make some changes. What's the choice, Tammy? What is your decision? Got up the next day. I didn't eat a carbohydrate for a year because I said, "What? I can't fix all of this. Like, what do I do?" Like, mentally, I was just stuck. Talk about stuck in a suck cycle, right? It's a 10. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's 10:45.
Yeah, I know. It's Sunday sermon. It's usually 11. I'll be done in a minute. I was like, mentally, I'm kind of drained. Financially, I'm drained because I'm missing work and losing jobs and all the things because of all the things. And I was in a $300,000 house I just bought, going to lose that. My relationships were shit. My body image was crap. My health was awful. So I said, what is the thing? I can't control the things that have other people involved. Like right now, I can't fix that. So when you're trying to get out of that suck cycle, pattern interrupting, right? Pattern interrupting, and then picking one thing. Finding one thing that you can do better. Finding one decision that you can change. First thing I could do is like, I have to fix me. I have to be physically feeling better before I can address any of this other stuff, right? And it took me a little bit of time, like all the things that I wanted in my life that were not happening. Like, okay, I can fix this. I can 100% control how I feed myself and how I take care of me. That's all I can control right now. That's all I can do right now is fix me. So if you're stuck in that suck cycle, it's always going to be awful. It's always going to be awful. You didn't get in that suck cycle yesterday or today. You're not going to get out of it yesterday or tomorrow or the next day. Sometimes it takes a little time, but you have to make one next positive steps, right? Pattern interrupt and then go to the next positive step. What is one decision, one thing that you can do in this situation that will change it, but you have complete autonomous control over that situation? Because I'm a realist too, right? I couldn't just like run away from it and make it all get better. No, I had to fix it. And that's how I started it. Good morning. I'm not sure who this is. Good morning. I want you to know that you can change one thing. So the first thing I changed, right, is how I treated myself. Putting good fuel in. And every day when I made the choice to take care of myself, things got incrementally better. Got a full-time job that was very easy, right? It brought some money in. We made a decision that we were going to reset our marriage. We were going to move away. Hey, Mal, we were going to move out of Richmond, get rid of the house, move back here, try to get some grounding, kind of start pattern interrupt and start over. It wasn't working for us. He wasn't happy there. We were ready to come back home. I needed to feel like I was surrounded by what I needed to feel like I was surrounded by. I knew that if I wanted to be entrepreneurial, because it was a big drive of mine and I felt very much like a corporate sellout, it was like more money I made, the more problems I had, the less happy I was, the more shitty food I put in my body. And it's hard to break away from $100,000 a year job because you don't feel good, right? It doesn't make sense. And so I pattern interrupted and I got myself kicked out of that $100,000 a year job. So I didn't have to worry about me. I could be a victim in it, right? I could be, what dumbass leaves that job? But if you don't have an option, then you're the victim, right? Good morning. It's okay, darling. So I could control what I did for me. We made those choices, right? I lost 100 pounds. We were happier than we've ever been. And then what happens, right? Stinking thinking. It's a cycle. It's a pattern, right? And this year I came into 2022 thinking to myself, okay, felt like last year, pandemic hit, all the things. And I was thriving in 2020. I'm not gonna lie. We thrived in 2020. 2021 kicked my ass. But I got up to 2022, and it's not gonna be the first of the year. It's not gonna be the beginning of a year, but whenever you want to do it. When I did it the first time, it was a Tuesday in July of 2019. And I got up, saw that picture, and the next day I just did it. I was like, hey, I'm not eating carbs anymore. I need to do something for my health. I've got to feel better. He's like, you're not prepared to do keto. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I can't sit here and go, okay, I'm going to start on Monday. When you decide to make those big changes, make them immediately. Do it. Fail forward, right? Progress is better than perfection. Doing something is better than nothing, okay? So this year, I walked into this year going, I need to reclaim my life. I need to reclaim my health. I need to reclaim my emotional state. I need to get my arms around things because I walked into this year, and normally I like to come off the holidays with like a little bit of time off and like some woosah and some I came into last year like that. Like I took last year and I really hit the ground running. And I would say last year was an awful year. Last year just kicked my ass. I started partying. My first party of 2021 for Party with Tammy was January 1st of 2021. And I don't think I looked up from that day. I worked constantly. And I really wanted to, so I was like, okay, you kind of compartmentalize things, right? And you look at it, you're like, okay, well, I got all this stuff done. Now I got to do this, now I got to do this, now I got to do this. So this is the year I'm kind of put all the pieces together, but it's one thing at a time. So the first thing I decided this year was, right, I'm going to make sure I make time, carve out some time for me, carve out some time for my partner, carve out some time to do some things that are outside of work, right? And it's hard to do when you work from home. Second thing is that I put off making better food choices. But let me tell you what, I'm like, why was 2020 and why was that such a great year for me, right? Why is 2021 such a shit year and 2020 why is it such a different year? And I realized, and I brainstorm journaled this. I was putting the cleanest, most effective foods in my body that whole year. I was taking the best care of myself, so everything else fell into place, right? I was taking care of the vessel that was running. I was taking care of the lighthouse. I was taking care of the cup was full. Last year, I was doing exactly what I tell y'all not to do, which is pour from an empty cup. And Mary, I know that, right? Mary, I know that. The end of 2020 was my breaking point. I sat here coming into it with a decision I wasn't going to go into depression further. And you know what? You have to make that the thing. And I love that you're taking care of yourself. I love that you're taking care of you first, right? And Heather says, I understand Walking with Prosperity. I did it myself in 2021, the most liberating move I've ever made. It's liberating, but it's scary as hell. It's scary as hell, right? Because of the fear of judgment, right? The fear of judgment. And then, like Mel said, taking care of that meat suit, 100% taking care of that meat suit. You have to, because it houses you. They say like in the Bible, it says like, I think it's like your body is a temple, right? Treat your body as a temple because you are, right? It is so scary. It is the scariest thing ever. And I was not strong enough just to walk away from it. I was not strong enough. I just sabotaged the shit out of myself, right? Thinking it was enough, right? I did an amazing job, got the best results, got the best kudos, the best feedback, but I'd be late 3 days a week. And they didn't want you to be late 3 days a week. And it was always because of my attendance and my tardiness. And that was always directly related to my anxiety, my depression, and the way that I was taking care of my body. It was all my mental state. So I was 100% self-sabotaging, and I was mad. And even like, I used to tell the story like, and honestly, the day that I lost my job from the last place I lost my job, the only place that I really ever lost my job, I left the other companies and went to this last company. So I went to an insurance company. I left Travelers. I was the national account manager for CarMax. I, worked with some other reps with a team of people that did that. And I left that job and went to another company for more money, right? Less work, more money, closer to home, all the things, all the big things. I did not ever fit into that place. I was late constantly because they just got on my nerves. I'm like, I'm doing like 3 times the work of these kids. That was the way I justified it, right? That's the way I justified it to myself. It didn't matter. They were there on time. They, whether they did or not, they were there on time, and that mattered to that company. But when I got, they told me if you're late again, you're written up. I was like, oh, it's fine. I was literally like 3 minutes late, and then nothing ever was said. I was like, nobody cares. And then it was like a month and a half later, and the day I walk into the job, right? I'm on the homepage. It's like customer service kudos. Like customers had written in, and I was like on like the homepage for the intranet, right? For inside the office, like we had our little like morning news from the company, and it's like when I was like the headliner, right? It's like Tammy Nelson, blah blah blah, best customer service ever. She did a great job. This whole like thing this customer wrote about me. I was like, I get called into the manager's office. What do I think? I'm like, I'm gonna get a bonus because you can get bonuses for places like that. Maybe just a gift card, whatever. Maybe an extra PTO day. And they let me go. And not only do they let me go, like I'd never been fired before, ever. I was like, what? Like I got an attitude about it. Like I got shitty about it. Like they walked me out of the building. They went back and they said, where's your, like, I gotta get my keys. I'm getting my stuff off my desk. No, ma'am, you're not. We're gonna escort you out of the building. They went and got my purse and my keys, and like they mailed me my shit, y'all. I've never had that happen. I was mortified. But this is the first time I've ever told that story where it wasn't their fault. This is the first time, and I left that company 4 years ago. This is the first time I've ever told that story where it wasn't their fault. So, they escorted me out of the building, and I was mad at them, but I did it to myself. And I've never been able to admit that before, right? And y'all, let me tell y'all want to hear a funny story? Because I was not the same like love and light, junkie that I am now. I was using like, okay, so I had been in corporate America at that point for like 15 years and had moved from Farmville, lived in like the bougie part of Richmond and all the things like Chesterfield over that. Let me tell y'all what, I went from Brandenville to Trailer Park in like 3 seconds. And y'all want to hear the funniest thing ever? Like it's really like a movie on TV. And I came home and I was like pissed off. Who is this? I remember that, Tammy. Oh, you remember who? Yeah. Y'all, I was cussing these people. I was like, you know what? Like, I get in the like, really, you think I'm gonna like cause, like, obviously when they acted like I was gonna cause a scene, I'm like, you're gonna act like I'm gonna cause a scene? Let's cause one. It's on. Let's do this. Mic drop, right? And I get on the elevator and I hit the button. I was like, you know what? Blah 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 blah. And I like flipped them off and the doors close and the elevator messes up. And I'm standing there like all pissed off, and the elevator goes, opens back up, and there they are. And I'm like this. Awful. It was awful. It was awful, awful, awful. But it was bad, right? But not even that like woke me up, right? Then I was in this victim pattern. Oh, it's their fault. It's not my fault. It's their fault. It's not my fault. It's their fault. Everything is our own fault. Everything is our own making, right? So that was just, I don't know, with that growth to be able to see our fault. Yes, and that's the thing, right? It's just one small step forward, right? Yeah, it was a movie moment. It was awful. It was really, really awful. And I was mortified and but who are you now? Exactly. And that's what matters, right? It matters about It's not about what that was. Like you're not don't look back. You're not going that way. It always makes me laugh. It's like the rear view mirror is like this big and the windshield's like this big. So which one are we meant to look at, right? We're meant to look forward and go forward. And here's the thing, like in that moment, like if you're in that suck cycle at that moment though, right, Heather? I was in that suck cycle. I was beat up by that suck cycle. I was overweight. I now was unemployed and lost this big ass job. I had this house and and you can't help but and people that are outside looking, like my husband, I'm sure he's like, what is she doing? She's just, and here's the thing, when you're in a relationship and you're married, when you go into those suck cycles and you start making really destructive choices about yourself, maybe it's a substance abuse or losing a job or not taking care of your body or whatever you do to deal with you, and you're married or you have a partner, you have kids, or you have people that depend on you, you take them down in that fucking flame of ball of crazy gas burning light as well, right? And it's not fair, and that's how things get crazy. Luckily, even though we've had our few moments of like crazy blow ups and, everybody has those moments where you just like, bang, spit it all out. And then you're like, okay, we love each other a lot, right? So let's figure out a way to move forward. And I, apologize. And we said we're in it for the long haul through sickness and in health. And I always say this, like when things are going crappy and like you're self-sabotaging, you're not taking care of yourself, you're making all these bad choices, that is sickness. Right. And the person that sticks beside you through all of that nonsense, right? Good, bad, and ugly is like, hey, I've seen the ugly. I don't like the ugly, but I love you enough to see the ugly and get through it. Let's move forward. That's important, right? That's important to me, is to also be cognizant of that, right? This story is so familiar, isn't it? And sometimes here's the thing though, you don't know that it's familiar because you think you're the only one, right? You think you're the only one. Exactly, it really is. And sometimes here's the thing, like Red and I have learned as well, that sometimes like he'll say, like, I just need you to give me some time, like give me a moment. And we have learned that sometimes you just need to like, okay, I'm going to step away. You're going to step away. And I'm not saying like living, I just say like we do different parts of the house, different things we're doing. Like he'll go fishing or I'll go take a walk or whatever, or sit in my office normally and like do stuff. But it's understanding that this too shall pass, right? So sometimes the suck cycle is just taking a deep breath and like, it's too shall pass, because it's not your suck cycle. So sometimes we're also like, if we're in the suck cycle, we know we have to pattern interrupt, make some changes, and fix things one little piece at a time, right? One little piece at a time. Now, if you are suck cycle adjacent, right? If you are suck cycle adjacent, where my poor sweet husband has been suck cycle adjacent, and vice versa. I mean, everybody has their moments where things in their own head or their own personal space, their own perception is not going like they want it to go. Maybe they're not happy with a career, because we made a career move for him as well when we moved here. Maybe they're not happy with themselves in some way, or whatever that may be. Maybe they're dealing with their own aging parents, or they're dealing with their own aging body themselves, just like all of us are, whoever the person in your life is, right? You have to be able to be strong enough, right, to not get sucked into the suck cycle and feel that it's personal. That's a lot of us do. I do that very badly, right? I want to fix it for everybody else, and I need to realize, right, I can't fix Heather. I can't fix Mel. I can't fix Mary. I can't fix Wendy. I can fix Tammy, and then I need to fix me and focus on me, and then everything around me will be fine, right? And what I can do for my husband if he's having a bad day is I can be the best me I can be, because then he has a respite to come to, right? Just like for him, he needs to focus on himself being the best version and being the best man that he can be, so that when I need him, he is my respite. I can't get pulled into his suck cycle. He can't get pulled into mine. Now, do our little circles sometimes hit? We're both in a suck cycle together. Yup. That's life, right? But being able to recognize it, right? Stand firm in it, and making some small choices to get out of it are the biggest thing that I want to share with you. So that is what today's message was about the suck cycle. I know that that's a whole lot to take in. It's a whole lot to think about. What I'm going to ask you to do is this, right? Recognize that it's a suck cycle and this too shall pass. Taking a moment to pattern interrupt, whatever that may be for you, right? Maybe it's just stopping and smoking a bowl, right? Maybe it's just stopping and having a brownie. and taking a little break, right? Because that's what I say all the time. It's a pattern interrupt. Number 3, it is being able to pattern interrupt, right? Taking that break, recognizing it, taking the break to recognize it. And then 3 is taking a step to fix it, right? Taking a step to realize what things you can fix. What are the things, what are the changes you can make? I'm not saying, well, I need to make sure he understands. No. What are some things that what are some choices that you can make to fix, to work on you, to get yourself out of it, right? Is it, my job sucks. My job sucks. My job sucks. Now, how many people have heard this from a friend? My job sucks. I'm like, okay, well, so-and-so is hiring. I don't want to do that. Well, you said your job sucks and you're miserable at your job. You just want to complain about your job, or do you want to make a choice to change it? Because here's the thing, when you start giving, you can't fix it, but if you start giving suggestions and nobody wants to take it, think about that. If you have been in a suck cycle and people have been trying to give you suggestions and everything that they say, you shoot down, then you need to think about that, right? Is what you're at worse than what could be? And I'm telling you, if I can leave $100,000 a year job, pardon me, but you can leave Burger King if it's not making you happy. But you have to make the next choice. You have to do the next harder thing. Choose the harder thing, right? Easy enough. If it feels hard, it's probably, if your body's like, nope, I don't want to do that, it probably needs, that's your ego gripping. You need to go ahead and get that done, right? You need to go ahead and get that done. Now, could I just have voluntarily told him, I was like, I'm just going to leave this job, and he's like, nope, it would have been a whole thing. But had I been sensible enough, right? Because you're gonna if you don't like something and it's not serving you, it's gonna leave you, and you want to be able to control that narrative is all I'm getting at, okay? But you want to be able to make some better positive choices, right? I'm just using that as an example, Mel, because I know that you said that's how you felt there. That's why I said that, okay? But what I'm saying is that you need to start making next positive steps, right? And I'm also going to tell you this. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you are hanging out with bums and losers and addicts and crappy people and non-meritorious people and stinking thinking and people that are stuck in the suck cycle and they're always miserable and always downtrodden, and everybody around you is just like that, and you just, misery loves company, birds of a feather flock together, right? Change your company. I love that. It's taken me months to regain myself, and that is the big thing, right? That is the big thing for me, Heather, was like, I tied so much of my identity into what I did for a living that I lost myself, right? And I'm not what I do. I am who I am. What I do is a result of who I am. And I want to be who I want to be. I want to be who I want to be. And then everything else is just tertiary. That's all fodder, right? So on that note, stop the stinking thinking, right? Stop that pattern. Recognize that you're in a stinking, sucky pattern, right? Recognize you're in a sucky pattern. Pattern interrupt. Raise your vibration. Make some better choices. Surround yourself with people who are better people, right? And here's the thing. Not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. I have not talked to a lot of my girlfriends over some things happened last year. And I realized some people are in your life forever. Some people are in your life for a season. You have to, it's no hard feelings. You grow apart or you grow together, right? You either grow together or you grow apart. We grew differently, right? We grew apart. We don't have things in common, but you hold on to the relationship because you think you have to hold on to them. And it's not the case. If you have nothing in common, if you're not talking, you just move on. It's not that I don't love them any less. It's just that I choose not to stress myself over trying to fit that mold anymore, right? And I'm going to be the best person that I can be. And if that person's meant to be around me, then they're going to be attracted and be in my circle of influence. And if they're not, then they're choosing not to be. I am right here, right? It does happen for a reason because we outgrow a lot of people. There are people who I literally thought when I was your age, Mel, that I would never not be best friends with. And I don't know where they live now. It's just the God's honest truth. It's just the God's honest truth. And I'm going to tell you what, a lot of people grow apart and then they do their growing and you do your growing, and then your paths cross again when it's time for your paths to cross. And I'm okay with that. I live my life in a way that I try to be the light that I can be. I try to be the beacon that I can be. I'm good to people. I try to be good to people in every respect that I can be. And if they choose to be a part of my life, then that's great. I'm always here and I'm always willing to help whoever I can help, but I'm not going to do that at the detriment of my personal, physical, mental, or spiritual well-being. I'm not putting anybody else in the whole wide world ahead of my emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. Now, I say namaste. I believe the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. I think that we are all our own like divinity wrapped up in one, right? We're our own heaven and hell. We are a living embodiment of heaven and hell, and what we decide to live in is what we get, right? Whatever your perception is of that day is what you're in. So here's what I'm going to tell you, right? Love yourself. Self-love isn't selfish, right? Self-love isn't selfish. And when I talk about pattern interrupts, again, it can be with my businesses. I'm just being honest. Like, that's why I love it. Like, I can stop and I can do something fun and talk to girls about this, or I can help people with their like calming down and all of that. The power of all now. I love that. The power of all one. Yep. But whatever it may be, whatever your like woosah is, right? I'm going to encourage you to find your woosah. I'm going to encourage you to be real with yourself about what it is that you want out of life. And I want you to start loving yourself more, because here's the thing. All of this rolls in and wraps up to when you love yourself, you treat yourself like something you love. And that means you take the time, you take the energy, you take the work, all the things that it takes, right? All the things that it takes to be the best version. When you love yourself, you have no problem doing it. And I made the comment the other day to someone, and it wasn't, it's like, I was like, it's not that I love you less. I just love me more than I ever have before. It's like, I don't love you any less. I just love myself more than I ever have before, and I'm not tolerating nonsense anymore. And here's the thing. Sometimes it's scary to say those things, because sometimes you say those things to people who are like, well, I'm not doing that. And you have to be okay with those consequences. And here's the thing. When you are true to yourself, it all works out, right? When you hold your boundaries and all the things, it all works out. Yeah, your ego hates me. I've totally been loving myself more and more. Yeah, that ego gripping is usually when you know you're doing something right? When the ego's like, no, you're like, yeah, I got you now, ego. But speaking of that, I need to get off of here, grab a shower real quick. We're going to go pick up a fridge in a little bit. We got to meet them about 12:30 or so. And we have to go get some groceries and all the things. The truth is liberating, and it's also very scary. But I'm going to let y'all know, a lot of the things that you worry about, a lot of the things you're like, well, this won't work, that won't work. When you stand in your power, you'll be amazed at how much stuff you worried about for zero reason. And I tell you this, and this is the best advice I can give you today. Worrying is praying for the shit that you don't want to happen. Everything is energy. When you worry, you are manifesting that. And that's sometimes why you get stuck in the suck cycle, because you are 100% manifesting all of the crap that you don't want to happen, because your brain is constantly doing that. It's constantly playing that movie in your head. That worry is if you can worry, I'm telling y'all now, stop it. And like, I want you to think, oh my gosh, this house is beautiful. Oh my gosh, this job I have, this abundance that I have is amazing. And you can manifest the life that you want. So a couple of things. Number one, if you are in #Party with Tammy, our cutest couples contest starts in the morning, our final round of that. We have 3 finalists in our cutest couples contest. So if you're in #Party with Tammy, make sure to vote for your favorite. We have Holly Bruce, Patricia Kalima, and Harley Newcomb. Congratulations on being finalists. Number 2, if you're in Hometown Hippie, February Munchie of the Month boxes are being opened up this weekend. Today sometimes I'm going to open up the Google form to sign up for that with add-ons. If you'd like to do some Valentine's Day add-ons with that box, I'm going to be honest. I would like to have those out by the 15th, so they may not be in your hand by Valentine's Day if you do the add-ons. But I think I'm going to do I'm not doing as much as I thought for Valentine's Day because I'm overwhelmed. But I'm going to do some Valentine's Day specials. So those will be coming out tonight. Tune in tomorrow night for Magic Monday and Hometown Hippie. I'll have a lot more things on that, plus some giveaways. And then if you're watching the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like this. Let people know about this channel if you're finding it. We do a little bit of woo-saw. We do a little bit of sex positive talk because we do have a couple of businesses we run. Number one, I have Hometown Hippie, which is elevated edibles, which is for all your cannabis edible needs. Number two is going to be Hometown Hippie, which is is Party with Tammy, which is my pure romance business. I do virtual parties and I have amazing things for women's care from morning to night, pretty much everybody's care from morning to night. And then number three, I do have Creative Healing Collaborative, which is my retreat business, which y'all, the retreat page is looking good. And if you are on the list for the retreat, you will be getting the email to go ahead and fill out and book your retreat, to put your you can put your deposit down or pay for your room in full, however you want to do it. And that is coming along amazingly. I'm going to use this refrigerator. I'm going to come home and finish writing my bio and finishing that up so that we can get that sent out to y'all. Hopefully by tomorrow night, you will have the ability to book your retreat. And if you're interested in that, there is options to share a room. There are options for payment plans. And it is a women's only retreat that is going to be the weekend of October 27th through the 30th. You can get in for as low as $749. Like I said, there's payment plans. Yes, the retreat is we have not created a group yet, but we do have a web page we're working on to be able to book it, where it's beautiful. It's coming along so amazing. I love each and every one of you. I hope that you all have a great week. And don't forget, our business hours for Hometown Hippie are 10 to 6, Monday through Friday. So let me know if you need anything. I'll be in the office starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Y'all have a great day. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, peace, love, and feast, and stay elevated. If you're a Party with Tammy, hashtag don't forget to party with Tammy. I love y'all so much, and I'll talk to you very soon.